All right, good morning, trade pros. Welcome to Morning Market Update for today's Wednesday, April the 3rd of 2019. This is George from Trade Pro Academy. Let me turn around and look at your beautiful face for a little bit here. Today we have an important day ahead of us. We have crude oil inventory and we've had the ADP job numbers, and it's going to be a fun day of trading. There's going to be a lot of opportunity for volatility and tradable volatility more specifically, which is something that we enjoy. All right, let's start out with our morning market fun fact. On this day in 2000, U.S. District Judge Thomas Penfield Jackson issued a final ruling that Microsoft did indeed violate antitrust laws, sending the shares of the company down 14%, taking $80 billion off of the market capitalization of Microsoft. All right, putting it at 473 billion. Nasdaq suffered one of its worst days ever, tumbling 7.6% on that news. All right, and today Microsoft has rebounded and now has a market cap of just shy of $1 trillion, 914 billion. So tumultuous times for Microsoft and Nasdaq on this day in 2000. And I don't think investors forget that day. I think that, if somebody's been trading that long, they'll remember it, and they'll remember it very well. All right, so that's what we got this morning. I want to remind you today, or give you an update on something. We're retaping our foundations course. So in 2012, I created this course and I called it the Foundations course. It was a flagship course, the first one we ever offered, and it was really fun. It was great, but a lot has changed since. So we're rebuilding that entire course from the very beginning. Okay, it's going to be more focused, less lessons, but more powerful and actionable information. And I invite you to be there. So if you're a swing trader, pro trader, or elite member, you're going to have access to this live retaping. There's no additional cost. It's not like I'm going to charge you thousands of dollars to attend webinars. It's going to take place over the course of 3 weeks, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 2 lessons a night, 3 times a week. We go hard at Trade Pro Academy, and we don't mess around. All right, that's a retaping schedule. Link is in the description of the video below if you want to sign up and join us for that. It's starting April 8th, and I probably won't be retaping that course another 5 years. So it's an opportunity of a lifetime, really. Well, unless you plan to live longer than 5 years, it's not an opportunity of a lifetime. But it's still a great opportunity, and I suggest take advantage. All right, today we're going to talk about U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin. They're set to resume talks with China today with Vice President Liu He, and global equities are rallying in response. All right, algorithms are driving up share prices on some pretty low volume. Shanghai Composite's up about 1.2%. Europe's ahead by about 1% at midday, and Dow Jones can't talk today. And Dow Jones is pointing to triple-digit gains. American and Chinese officials are said to have negotiated 90% of the deal at this point, but there's 10% that remains. That's not news. That's been the case for the last almost month. They've been negotiating and haven't closed the deal, but the market keeps getting excited. So there's either going to be a big deal or a big failure, and both are going to drive some monumental movement. I do think the next move is to the upside through all-time highs and pushing to brand new and fresh all-time highs. And I've been kind of saying that for weeks now, and here we go. We're getting closer and closer. To be honest with you, this rally has legs. It can continue. And unless we get a huge disappointment out of this China deal, which we're not, the 10% that isn't there yet is they're trying to figure out how to implement this thing, and more importantly, how they're going to enforce it. It's one thing to say you have a deal, but how are you going to actually take steps to enforce that deal? What happens if you don't live up to the deal? How will you know? How will you track it? What are the metrics? Right? There's a lot to it. It's not just like you shake hands and 2 countries come into a huge trade agreement. All right. That's that. We've been in this situation for weeks. Algorithms got excited. They started driving up the bids, and you're seeing markets take off overnight. Donald Trump apparently on a March 8th call. This is a confidence-inspiring conversation between Donald Trump and Jerome Powell. On March 8th, as markets were sliding, Donald Trump apparently, this is confirmed now, called Jerome Powell and said, "I guess I'm stuck with you." He also said, "Mnuchin gave me this guy," talking about his Treasury Secretary. Clearly, there's no love lost between Jerome Powell and Donald Trump. It's an interesting situation. I think the Federal Reserve, I think Powell believed that he could continue to raise rates and the economy would sustain the pressure of draining liquidity and higher rates overall. And I know Donald Trump it's not that he thought it was just a bad time. He just thinks it's always a bad time to raise the interest rate and drain liquidity, which is basically a tightening of stimulus. All right. If you look at Donald Trump's business dealings, he's done a lot of deals on debt and believes in debt. So that's kind of a foundational belief of his. So there's a disagreement based on values, really, between the two of them. But hey, they should just get together and be friends. All right, let's look at some important stuff this morning. NBA mortgage applications came out at 7 a.m. 8:15, we had the jobs report from ADP, and it stunk. 129,000 jobs versus 175,000 jobs. Enormous miss on this jobs report. The more important one is on Friday at 8:15 or 8:30 in the morning. Elite members, we're opening up the room for you at 8:15. We're going to trade it live together. That's the real opportunity, but this was a huge miss. I mean, 129,000 jobs versus 175 expected. All right, the prior was revised up from 183 to 197, which is 15,000 jobs. But you take that revision and add it to this number, and you still get, 15,000 on the 30, 45, 46. You still get a 25,000 job miss on this report. Terrible. Construction's down 6,000, which is a contraction of construction. We've seen contraction in manufacturing of 2,000 jobs. Small business positions up only 6,000 versus 12,000 prior. Medium businesses, 63,000 jobs versus 95 prior. That's a miss. Large businesses, huge miss. 60,000 jobs added versus 177 expected. All right, month over month. Goods producing sector, contraction as well, minus 6K. Service producing sector, 135 versus 139. Everything missed across the board. All right, so tomorrow, the news is this. What will the ADP, or rather, what will the non-farm payroll report give us? Because that's what's important. If we have a strong beat in this report tomorrow morning, I got a feeling that the market can go down. All right. I think that right now, bad news is good news, because that means the Federal Reserve is on track to hold rates lower longer and stop unwinding their balance sheet. So there you have it. The economy stinks and the market's pumping the new all-time highs. Gotta love it. Buy the dips, ride the upside. Do not fight the trend. Your job is not to be right. Your job is to get paid. And let's do it today. You guys take care. Have a good day. Manage your risk, trade pro. And always remember to check out the Foundations course retaping. We're starting that on April the 8th. I'm very excited. That's this upcoming Monday, by the way. All right. Where has time gone? Take care, guys. Have a great day. Trade pros in the room. Let us get started today with our trading zones and levels. Let me just close out the YouTube and let's get started. I'll draw some great levels for an entry opportunity in this